Welcome. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is Spotlight, and I'm Pastor Dan. And if you've been with us, you know that we've been wrestling with the Old Testament kind of picture of God, what people often call the Old Testament God. I was watching a news one time and the weather in Chicago, and they said, "What did we do to you?" That's the Old Testament God idea. Not fair, it's not who I think God is, but that's the perception. So we're trying to find a way, and we've talked about God bending down to where people are. Like Kohlberg, the stages of moral motivation, that people get stuck at different levels and they do things for different reasons, and God has to come down and talk to everybody at a level they can understand. So he humbles himself down to that. And God uses emergency measures. God has to deal with chickens, and he deals with turkeys, and he deals with eagles. We're not all eagles, and so God has to have a range of approaches and stories and metaphors and ways of trying to win all of us. And so when we look at some of these stories, we have to say, why is God doing this? He wants people to learn what eventually will happen from the behavior that they're doing. But he doesn't want them to learn from their own disaster. And so he has to find a way to create an object lesson. So sometimes he has, at certain critical, what I call crossroad defining moments, God will let one person or a group suffer, hoping to save millions of people. Does it with tears streaming down his face. So take one like Lot's wife. So God comes and he's going to rescue. He's willing to save the whole city. But there's not enough. Abraham dickers with him. You know the story. So finally they leave, and God, as he's leaving and taking Lot and his wife and their daughters away, he says, don't look back. He's going to destroy the city. Don't look back at that. But while they're hiking into the mountains, Lot's wife, misses her house, she misses her friends and the life, and just wants to take one last look before she never sees it again. And the moment she looks back, she dies. And God makes her a pillar of salt. And so, God. But God wants to teach people a very important lesson, is that if God takes you from A to B, don't look back at A longingly as if you're missing something that was better. Wherever God is taking you is better than wherever God took you from. God has never taken you backwards. God has never taken you in a negative direction. It's always better. And so God says, how can I teach this? And so he uses a very graphic lesson and then puts a story in the Bible, and millions have been able to read that story. Say, don't look back. Don't look longingly at your old life or drinking or partying or sleeping around or whatever else. Wherever God is taking you, if you really understood it, will always be better. Away from Sodom and Gomorrah towards a better land. That's the lesson God wanted to learn. And so at certain key moments, he does some hard things. Let's go down to Ananias and Sapphira down in Acts chapter 5. The young church just getting started. People who have some money and some land are starting to sell, trying to help get this church going, help take care of the poor. So evidently Ananias and Sapphira had promised to sell their land. So Ananias walks in, puts the money down. Is this all of it? Yeah, that's all of it. Boom, dead. They pull him away. His wife comes in. Was that all the money that your husband brought in? Yeah, that's all the money. Now she dies. Whoa. If we did that today, if God started destroying everybody, then didn't pay a full tithe and offerings, we get a lot of money in the church. Okay, here's my money. But God allowed this one moment in the early church, just getting started, to teach some lessons. Is that if you don't tell the truth, if your word is no good, you say something and you don't follow it up, this is not going to work. Your word has to be good. And if you start to hold on to things, you're not sure you can really trust God and trust the church and trust anything, you better take care of yourself. God helps those who help themselves. I better hoard and take care of things myself just in case. That will slowly eat away at your heart and soul. And you will lose your soul. And God uses a very hard lesson to teach this lesson to all of us, to be givers and not hoarders and hold on to yourself. And a very clear reality is that if you eventually lose your soul, you will eventually lose your physical life too at the end of the world. And God puts all that together in one little vignette. And that story is there, and you learn a lesson. God doesn't want you to learn it from you losing your soul. He wants you to learn from them. I got it. And so God telescopes the long-range consequences of choices we're making now, and he puts them together in a graphic moment and said, be careful. As touching the art, respect holy things, be careful. This is Spotlight. We'll do it again next time. God bless you. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe, and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.